live on YouTube as well. You guys, if you ever want to go back and review some of this content, especially this first part of the session, you can go to check us out on YouTube. Alfonso Quadra. I post in a lot of our sessions, especially this free part that's complimentary and everybody can have access to. You guys can go watch it on YouTube. And for our YouTube friends here, if you guys are wanting to know and be part of this session here, make sure you hit us up. Talia, you can put you already did that. So what do we want to talk about today? Well, we want to talk about the seller's market and how to find things like investors and how to find deals versus going to the same watering hole as everyone else, right? So you guys understand that right now we are in a seller's market, okay? Seller's market meaning the sellers have more of the power. There's times in a market where it's a buyer's market, right? And so in a buyer's market, the buyers have more of the power. So actually, let me just put the speaker view here. Whoops. Put the speaker view here. Okay. And so during a seller's market, that means that the inventory and the amount of sellers is less than the amount of buyers. So when you have more buyers than sellers, this now becomes a seller's market, meaning the sellers have control. The sellers don't have to be as negotiable. You'll see during a seller's market, you'll see that properties often hit the market, and within a week or two, they're sold. So currently, we are in a seller's market, and then when you're in a buyer's market, that means you have more sellers than buyers, meaning buyers now have the control, right? You can now go and negotiate because sellers, you'll see during a buyer's market, you'll see that properties will be on the market for, 60, 90 days. And so when you have a situation when you have real estate on the market for more than 60 or 90 days, that means those sellers become motivated. And so for a lot of you that are going through this program, whether you're in my mentorship program or you guys are part of Talia's coaching program, the first thing that we get, and tell me if I'm right, Talia, we went out there, we called the agent, he didn't even, he said I have to put in an over asking offer. Isn't that right?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, they really make it harder for you to actually even go see it. Even just to go walk the property, it's hard to even get them to take you seriously, or there's very many reasons, especially now because of COVID. They use that as well to their advantage.
And let's not put all the pressure on them. They're human beings, right? Realtors are human beings, and so are sellers, and people are trying to get the most, and they want to do the least to get the most, and that's normal. Like you're gonna see that all the time. And so what happens is when you call and you start asking questions, they'd rather go to someone that's more that can buy more with emotions and just put in an offer over asking, 100K over asking or whatever, no conditions or whatnot. We are not in that position here because we are investors. There's certain criteria that we need to look at, and we need time. We need to slow things down. And so I kind of want to talk about how to navigate and how to purchase real estate in a seller's market, which we're in right now. In a buyer's market, meaning there's more sellers, more properties available than buyers, this is like, this is a dream for the buyer, right? I mean, you can go in there and negotiate and do a lot of these creative things that we're talking about. And so, you have more leverage and more power as the buyer, but in this case, we are in a seller's market. So, now, we're living in a situation where there's no inventory. Okay? What does this mean? If you go online right now and you want to look at properties, you go on realtor.ca, or you may go find a realtor or whatnot, and you say, listen, I'm looking for 4 units or 3 units or triplexes. You may find that it's very slim pickings, okay? And so that's normal. It's normal that there's no inventory in a seller's market, which is why we're in a seller's market to begin with. The inventory is low. But as investors, and what we teach people, and you guys are going to discover that once you start getting the coaching, it doesn't even matter how old you are. It doesn't matter, because we have some people, actually I'm looking at some really young faces here today. But we have, for example, Jediah. Jediah, please remind me, how old are you? 21?
Yeah, 21, turning 22.
Turning 22. Oh man, I love that. I love that. So there's still opportunities, right? But you have to get the guidance. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know what to say. I'm sure when Jediah started calling these agents, they were not giving him the time of day. Versus how the kind of vocabulary that he uses now, now that he's gotten the coaching, he's gotten the training, is very different. And then you may be in a position where you have an advantage over all the other people that are just kicking tires. And so, seller's market, you have to understand what kind of market you're in and what is going to give you the competitive advantages to be able to put in an offer that is reasonable without going over asking. And how can you be in a position where you're the only person looking at these deals, especially when you're dealing in a situation where there is no inventory. Now, you'll see that there's situations when you have multiple offers, okay? When there's a situation where there's more people involved, more buyers on one property, okay, we call it the Bachelor. Imagine the Bachelor of real estate, right? The show The Bachelor. You guys have watched the show The Bachelor. There's one bachelor or one bachelorette, and then there's all these people that are competing for the rose. If you guys remember the show, you're competing for that one dude, right? And now I'm not an expert or anything, but when I watch the show, it's never a dude that's that crazy attractive. And that's just my personal opinion. And you're like, why are all these people fighting over this one dude that is not even the greatest dude? So in my opinion, it's because the environment is created where now human beings are competing to get that one thing, right? And so that's exactly how it is in real estate. When you're in a position where there's multiple offers, and now you have to compete with other people, you start doing things and you start compromising on investment fundamentals. And if you guys are part of our program, either my mentorship program or Talia's coaching program, you'll understand that that's the first thing that we teach. Do not steer away from the numbers. And if numbers don't make sense, there's no point of overpaying for real estate, because deals are like buses. There's always a next one. And so don't get caught up in the emotions of multiple offers, just like The Bachelor, and you see everybody's not acting themselves and going after one thing when there's multiple other deals. So I want you guys to write this down. In a seller's market, everyone is going to the same watering hole. Every single person goes to the same watering hole, aka realtor.ca. And if everyone is going there, you're creating a situation where everybody's fighting over that very limited inventory. And the truth is that there's real estate out there where the seller doesn't even know he's a seller yet. You have to find that seller. And so when there's a situation of multiple offers, I am out. I'm out. So I'm going to give you an example. call the agent, Mr. Agent or Mrs. Agent. I liked your deal. This is, and tell me if you've heard this before. Yes, it's a 4-unit property, but we're holding offers on Friday. Okay, so everybody's heard this. We're holding offers, meaning we're waiting for multiple offers, and that creates a sense of urgency, and people, start, compromising fundamentals. Now, my response to I'm holding offers is this. I understand you're holding offers. I'm a serious investor. I have no interest in being in a multiple offer situation. And what often happens is that these deals will go under contract over asking, but the buyer is unable to close and they come back to the market. And you're going to see this a few times. So, if you're really interested in selling this property, go through the offers, go through all the motions, because of course that realtor has to get the best price for their client, and we understand. But when that property comes back to the market, before it comes back to the market, give me a call, because I can bring a real serious offer. You see, now you've planted the seeds. Because I'm going to tell you, when things go over asking, emotions get involved. But by the time that buyer brings that deal to the mortgage broker is going to say, these numbers don't make sense. We can't fund this 80-20 or 25-75 loan to value. You're going to have to put in 40% to make this work. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh no, we can't close. They can't fulfill conditions. And then the property comes back to the market. That's exactly how it works. There's transactions done all the time. But for me, when there's this situation of multiple offers, I'm out. But guess what? If you're really interested, give me a call when that deal falls apart. The majority of my deals have been deals coming back to the market after the seller realizes that the property is overpriced. But you only can do that is with time, and you have to learn the structures and how we put things together. Now, you should understand the market. You need to understand what type of market you're in, and understand that all across Canada, we're experiencing different markets. There's markets that are experiencing more of a buyer's market than a seller's market. There's also, when you're looking at major markets like major cities, you are now competing with more people than if you went to secondary or tertiary markets. And so you need to understand what the markets, what is the supply and demand, so you know how to act accordingly, right? So, for example, downtown Ottawa, we'll look at a deal downtown Ottawa. Okay, perfect. You're downtown Ottawa, you know that it's 1 million people, and everybody's looking at the same property. When the seller or the agent says we're going to hold offers, you're going to see a frenzy. Versus if you go and put a deal under contract, let's say in let's call it Lansdowne, Ontario. So Lansdowne, Ontario, or Loyalist, Ontario, or Napanee, or any of these little towns, the amount of buyers are a lot less. Now, we are still in a seller's market, but now if we go into different provinces, for example, if you cross over the bridge into the Quebec side, you're going to find there's more inventory. And when you find more inventory, you find that the sellers are more reasonable. So, here's another thing. Finding realtors, okay, that are investor focused. Now, every realtor is going to tell you they're investor focused, but you need to understand and identify. This is why a big part of either my mentorship program or Talia's coaching, we focus a lot on real estate fundamentals. You need to know and you need to be educated before you can really identify if someone is truly an investor focused. Also, I wouldn't go to one realtor and say, you bring me to all these places. I want to make connections with as many realtors as possible because that will increase the likelihood of me getting some off-market deals. And this is another key component to the seller's market situation. You want to be in a position where you get a lot of off-market deals. So, here's one thing. Walkthroughs, and we talked about walkthroughs, and I know a lot of you are doing a lot of walkthroughs. Being in a position where you can engage with other multiple realtors, and maybe you're not looking at that specific property, but at the end of every interaction with a potential realtor, mortgage broker, or anybody in the industry, the sentence that's going to come out of your mouth should be, hey, if you have any deals like this, and especially if they're off market or pocket listings, send them my way. This morning, I was doing a coaching call with Talia, and she said that, you know, she's been working with this realtor for a while, and she sent a 5-unit apartment building, you know, within the last week, but it was because of the relationship that was built. How many months ago, Talia?
She had first sent it to me maybe like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Like a long time ago. And then it came back at a lower price. So now we're probably going to look into it a little bit more.
And so, you know, some of these, so you, once you make that connection and build that relationship with a lot of these realtors, so imagine just being stuck to one realtor and you can only see what that realtor is going to bring you. I would be more I would do the activity of connecting with as many realtors as possible. So I'm building my brand name all over the market, and especially a new market. I want to see what, you know, let's say I'm going to go buy in, you know, northern Saskatchewan. Well, I don't want to go to one realtor. I'm going to go to as many realtors as possible. But how do you know you're talking to the right realtor? Well, that's where the real estate fundamentals come in. You need to know and understand how all of this works and how to put these deals together. You need to build and develop your real estate IQ. Once you do that, you are going to intimidate those realtors versus them intimidating you. And so that's usually what happens. You call a realtor and then he's just going to kind of be like, who is this person? So now here's the real true key here. You want to go directly to the owner. You want to go directly to the owner, okay? You want to be in a position where you find off-market deals and you are directly dealing with the owner yourself. What does this mean? It means that you have control. You're not competing with all of these other investors. You are now going directly to that owner. Now, how does this work? You know, how do you find true off-market deals, right? We're talking about off-market, right? How do you find true off-market deals where you can be in a situation where you can talk to the owner directly? So, first things first, we can go to FSBOs. What's a FSBO? For sale by owner. You can go to Kijiji. There's lots of for sale by owners websites out there. But what you want is you want access to that seller yourself. And maybe your seller doesn't even know they're a seller yet. How about you engage with someone that hasn't decided that they're going to sell, and then now they're giving you that opportunity. And so we can go to Kijiji. Now, today I brought in some of my two of my students that we're going to do this case study with, but they will show you how they found an 8-unit apartment building just right off Kijiji, getting a better deal than anybody would have found on their own or even on Realtor.ca. So, yellow letter campaigns. Where's my thing here? Whoop. yellow letter campaigns, okay? Yellow letter campaigns. Okay, yellow letter campaigns, and of course, in our modules, and we have a whole infrastructure to show you how to do this. But yellow letter campaigns can be extremely powerful. But basically, it's simply a letter, right, where you are saying, Mr. or Mrs. owner of this property, I'm willing to buy your property. I'm looking into buying properties that can close quickly and without hassle, right? So being in a position where you create and the reason we say yellow letter, because it should be printed on a yellow letter, something that kind of stands out. There it is. Show it to everybody there.
Yeah, so I have a story about this one. This is the yellow letter that I received in my mailbox.
Okay.
Maybe like a few months ago. And I'm reading it, and it says, unfortunately, the person is not here on this call, but he is one of my students. His name is Michael. And he is actually the one that dropped this off at my house without knowing, obviously. So I actually brought this up to his student, or to his coaching call, and he was like, yeah, that's my letter. Yeah, Michael Pinnock, exactly.
Yeah. So,
he did this, like, he did like a campaign throughout, all of Vanier, all of, little. So he did this really, really well, and he got a couple of, calls from that. So
absolutely. So we can help you structure that, of course. You mentioned the coaching. Talia, can you again because we had a lot of new people sign up already since we had that conversation. Just put your email there in the chat box so people can email you directly. We will show you how to do all this. But again, you are now creating your own market. Right, you're going out there and you are finding the seller yourself, versus you're going into a situation where you're now one of many buyers, begging, hoping to try to get a deal and try to put in offers over asking, when at the end of the day, you don't need to put yourself in that situation where you can just now use other strategies that investors are using. Because guess what, guys? Transactions are happening every day. Transactions are happening with me every single day. I'm putting in offers. I'm doing this, and I'm never in a situation where I'm like one of many other offers that are at the table. So I'm never going to put multiple offers. I'm going to learn how to do this directly. Now, we call this driving for dollars. Okay, so very simply, you always should have a stack of yellow letters in your car, in your vehicle. And you see, when you see a property in a really good part of town that looks like it's a bit distressed, it means something. There's some sort of financial need there from that owner or that seller. You know what? Just put it where you are, and you can just drive around the neighborhoods, seeing what properties would be good, would fit your portfolio. And so we call that driving for dollars. And of course, I connect with wholesalers, okay? But obviously, I want you to beware. Be aware that, some wholesalers don't know what they're doing. Again, let's go back to those fundamentals, those real estate fundamentals. And if investors don't know real estate fundamentals, they might be selling you a deal that is not good. So you should be educated, and you should understand how numbers work, and never, ever, ever compromise on the numbers. And if you do that, if you follow this, it doesn't matter whether there is a seller's market or a buyer's market, you guys are going to be extremely successful. I know this because we have a lot of our students, it doesn't matter what age, they're rocking and rolling. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video here on YouTube. We'll say bye to our friends on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment down below, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified the next time we're doing a video. And guess what? Like, share, dislike, I don't care! Let me see how that looks.